Because I'm not ready to start, but it is called Sleeping Beauty, a moment to remember. There's Sleeping Beauty, Princess Aurora. So let's start the story. Princess Aurora sighed. She loved Prince Philip, but life in the palace was so different. Tonight there would be yet another royal ball, and the fairies, Laura, Fauna, and Merryweather, were bickering over what she would wear. Aurora looked out the window. She missed the quiet glade where she had met Philip. Aww. Look at that beautiful dress Princess Aurora is wearing. And there's the three fairies, Fauna, Merryweather, and Flora. But she's wondering what she's gonna wear. She misses the quiet place. Merryweather, I told you Aurora didn't want to wear that dress. This one would look much better, said Fauna as she gestured to the gown. And as soon as Fauna turned her back, Merryweather tried to change the color of the gown. Now, dear, said Flora, let's not argue. We all know this pink dress suits Aurora best. Don't you all think so, Aurora? Oh my goodness, they're all trying to help her dress up, but I don't think it's not working. So let's see what happens next. Before Aurora could answer, the royal chef entered the room to show the princess an ice sculpture. As she smiled her approval, castle maid hurried in to tell Aurora that they were almost out of candles. As Aurora finished telling her to check the storeroom, Prince Philip came into the room. Hello, dearest, he said, giving Aurora a hug. Oh, Philip, I'm so glad to see you. Aurora began. I am the royal florist, clear throat. Princess Aurora, could you please tell the royal table setter that these flowers are placed in the middle of each table tonight? Oh, there's Prince Philip and his lovely princess. Oh, this is cute. They're all trying to get ready for the royal ball. Let's see what happens next. Princess, said the royal table setter, could you please tell the royal florist that our guests would never see one another if I put his big flower arrangements in the middle of each table? Why don't you just put a single flower on each table? Said Aurora. The two servants looked horrified. A single flower, they said as they left. You were saying, dear? Philip asked. Pardon me, Princess Aurora, said the royal steward. I must have your approval on the seating arrangements. I will look at them, Princess Aurora began as soon as we return. Princess Philip finished. Where are we going, Philip? Aurora asked. For a ride where no one can bother us, Philip said. Oh, Prince Philip is taking Princess Aurora on a romantic ride. So no one would bother them both. After changing into their riding clothes, Aurora and Philip went to the royal stable. The royal groom led out Merritt, Aurora's horse, and Samson, Philip's horse. Oh, Philip, this was such a good idea, said Aurora. I'm sorry, dearest. I have forgotten that the royal equestrian guard must come with us, Philip said. Aurora tried to hide her disappointment. Then she leaned over and whispered to Samson, whining. Samson charged away from the palace with Philip. Merritt dashed after them, leaving the royal equestrian guard far behind. Oh, look, they're going for a ride on their horses. And they're trying to escape from the guards. I wonder where they're going. I wonder where Prince Philip taking Aurora. Whoa, whoa, Samson, Philip shouted as Samson raced ahead. It is all right, Philip, Aurora called. Samson knows where he's going. They galloped into the forest, where Samson found a path through the trees. Then he left the path and stopped suddenly. Splash! Philip said over Samson's head and landed in a stream. No carriage for you, boy, Prince Philip scolded his horse. He looked around and noticed some familiar-looking forest animals. Then he saw Aurora sliding out of the saddle. She smiled down at him. Do you remember this place, Philip? Aurora asked. So they went to the forest when they could meet all her little animal friends. That's romantic and brilliant. Aw, she went back to go see all her little friends. Philip sloshed out of the stream and sat down on a rock. He took off his cape and pulled off his boots to dump the water out of them. Aurora took off her shoes and cape. She spun around gracefully, humming a tune. Yes, Prince Philip softly, I remember this place. I will never forget that day, said Aurora. No matter how busy our lives become. Prince Philip smiled and touched her face. Nor will I. For when I am with you, everything else disappears. Philip and Aurora smiled, wishing they could bring the joy and contentment they had known in the glade back to the palace. So they returned to the forest, and Aurora is singing and dancing with her animal friends. And Prince Philip remembers how they met. And now he's looking at her and touching her and dancing with her. That's true love. That's how they met each other in the forest. Their peaceful moment ended abruptly as the royal equestrians thundered into the glade. I'm sorry, Prince Philip, said the head guardsman. We followed as quickly as we could. I hope you have not come to any harm. No harm done, said Princess Philip as he put on his boots, hat, and cape. We can take one more minute, dear, whispered Philip. I can send them back ahead of us. Apologetically, he picked up a fallen flower and handed it to Aurora. Aurora took the flower and smiled. No, Philip, she said. There is so much to do. Prepare for tonight. We should go back. So the guards had found them. But look what Prince Philip gave to Aurora. A flower. And that is so romantic. Aurora put on her shoes and cape and climbed into Merritt's saddle. She had a wonderful idea. As she worked quickly, she could surprise Philip that night. Philip touched Aurora's hand and said, You go ahead, dear. I'll send half of the guard with you. I will be back soon. Aurora nodded and smiled. Yes, that would allow her to get ahead to start on her plan. Philip watched as Aurora trotted away. He had an idea of his own. If he worked quickly and carefully, he could surprise Aurora that night. Not a word of this to the princess, he said to her animal friends as he gathered some flowers. Oh, they're gonna plan a perfect surprise to each other. Now that is so lovely. Aurora did not see Prince Philip for the rest of the afternoon. She was too busy working on his surprise. Under her watchful eye, servants carefully arranged flowers and food and brought candles to the tables. The fairies flitted about helping wherever they could. More than once Aurora heard a servant murmur, "Our guest will certainly be surprised." Aurora smiled. "It is Prince Philip I want to surprise," she told the servants. Not a word of this to him. The servants nodded. Prince Philip valid. I hurried off to keep the prince away. Oh, so they're planning a lovely dinner or something for the Prince Philip. Now she's a good planner. That night, the fairies helped Aurora dress in a gown she had picked herself. Then Prince Philip came into the room, holding a simple wreath of flowers from the glade. "Would you like to wear this too?" he asked. "Oh, Philip!" Aurora put on the flower crown and hugged her husband. "It is perfect for this evening." "And now I have a surprise for you," she cried as she led Philip down the stairs to the ballroom. It was dark and empty. "You canceled the ball?" Prince Philip asked. "Have the guests left?" "No, Philip," Aurora said, touching her flower crown. "You brought our little glade back to me. Now let me take you back to our little glade." Aww. He made her a crown out of flowers for her. And she's wearing it. Can you see that, boys and girls, on top of her head? Now that's lovely. Aurora led Philip into the courtyard. A sweet breeze whispered through the trees. Water danced in the fountain, sounding like a mountain stream. Candles flickered in the darkness, and the stars twinkled in the sky above them. "The glade will always be in our hearts," Aurora whispered. "But now it is in our palace too." Prince Philip took Princess Aurora's hand. "Then we should dance," he said. Just then Philip's father, King Hubert, entered the courtyard. "I say," he said with a chuckle, "this is much better than the stuffy balls I usually attend." Aww. She took Prince Philip to the courtyard, and it was a lovely garden that looks like the glade. The forest, how beautiful. And that's a beautiful surprise from Princess Aurora that she gave to Prince Philip, her husband. And now everybody loves the courtyard because of Princess Aurora. While their animal friends watched, Princess Aurora and Prince Philip happily danced the night away in their new glade. And that is the end of our story. And look, they're dancing and the animals are watching them dance together. And that is true love. This is so beautiful. That's the end of our story. Well, Princess Aurora and Prince Philip, they planned a surprise to each other. Prince Philip surprised his lovely wife, Princess Aurora, with a flower crown from the forest of the Glade. And Princess Aurora surprised her husband, Prince Philip, a courtyard, beautiful garden of the Glade. And that's where they all met, at the Glade in the forest, and with with their little animal friends. You see, because they both love each other, and that's where they met. So love is everywhere, boys and girls. And that is how Prince Aurora and Prince Philip, their love continues to grow stronger every day. Now that was a lovely story. I'll be right back with my buddies.